That's obviously a huge pick that we've seen in the past, and especially for both JackeyLove and Betty, for really any ADC I feel like in the LPL. Oh, wait, is this no spoilers?
Okay.
But is this players? We got the Yuumi lock in for top esports.
So the Yuumi lock-in, this is basically saying, look, you can take Zeri if you want, but you can't have it with the Yuumi, and we'll just take Sivir if you take the Zeri. So basically saying that the Yuumi is the important part. They don't mind whether they get the Sivir or the Zeri. And anyone's legend now saying, do we want the other side of that matchup? Do we want to go with something with the Lulu instead? The answer is no. They're going to go with the Lucian Nami and try and put pressure on that bottom side instead. So I honestly like this answer from anyone's legend, not going for the passive option, going and trying to put the proactivity in their own hands here for game 2.
We just get the follow back for top esports. Tian's like, well, I know I gave my life a lot of the time, but I set up the rest of the team, so I'm feeling perfectly fine with this. And the ball is in anyone's Legends court at this point for this bottom lane to really find success, as the Zeri is tried and true locked in for top esports.
Yep, pure aggression on the side of top esports here with Tian going for the buy once again. Anticipate him just sitting by lanes waiting for opportunities to queue on in. Xiaohao, lots of aggression. Mazel, we are getting fight night after all. Pure aggression here from anyone's legend. And I'm so happy to see that. Take your fate into your own hands. This is the way forward for AL.
That's exactly what I wanted to highlight is, again, they are in control of their own fate. Even if game 1 didn't look like it, they only need one win in this best-of-3 series. And I don't know if it's going to come from waiting and from playing passively against a team like top esports. So this is the adaptation we wanted to see. And now it's more so on how do you finish out this composition? How do you continue to look at that early game, either aggression or even stabilization? And how they kind of approach this execution of game number 2, because again, ball's in their court, they have it in their hands, but now they got to make the goal.
Yeah, they definitely do. The Taliyah obviously being removed with the Azir here. I'm curious if the Ryze gets banned again. We saw Ryze being kind of hovered and banned in game number 1. Seems like that might be a comfort for harder, perhaps something that top esports have been able to do research on. But ultimately, you could go for like a Vex ban if you want. I mean, Sylas is still available. If I'm harder here going into the second phase, I'm blind picking the Sylas. But do you really want to blind pick Sylas against Knight? Because he's one of the best Sylas in the world. He definitely knows what's good against it as well.
Yeah, for Harder's case, I'm hoping on a prayer here for him, especially in terms of like the mechanics we saw in that game number 1. But it's more so like you can have all the mechanics you would want, right? Like, we've seen that time and time again in the LPL where a certain player has a lot of mechanics. But it's about, he's getting ready. It's about, playing with the team, finding ways to work with Xiaohao. It's going to be the Sylas this time around, and he's getting ready.
Man, it really is fight night, isn't it? You see him stretching out. You see him getting ready as he locks Sylas against the king himself. Knight Sylas,
look at the smile.
Unstoppable. And you see, the grin on Knight's face. As now he decides what tool shall he pick to take up against that Sylas. The blind Sejuani, not super surprising. Up on the top side, Qingtian doesn't get the counter pick this time around, so can't go for the Aatrox himself. We may well see the Aatrox from CDC, honestly, to answer. No way does he do it. Look at the little grin. Look at his face.
There's no way it actually happens. But, it would have been appreciated. I love the shout out towards Harder. Right? Say, I saw you whip out the Vex. It didn't work out for you, but, I see you. I see you.
I feel like he's scheming right now. I feel like
he absolutely
see him looking at all the different champions like, how do I bring
this
this
And then he just
demise
locks in his Akali. We got some spicy punches here. A lot of mechanical ceiling for top esports in terms of their composition, but if anybody can live up to that bar, it's them. And Knight on the Akali, that is terrifying. We'll see what the final pickup is. Gnar, so tried and true. Anyone's legend will get their composition rounded out here, but Munchables got a little bit of differing take from anyone's legend this time and trying to kind of combat some of that early focus from top esports.
Yeah, I feel like we might finally have that fight night that we were all hoping for. I feel like this might be the moment because we got a lot of aggression locked in on either side. JackeyLove having that little kitty cat to scale up on the Zeri, but crucially, Knight having that little kitty cat, right? Akali in the mid game when you got a couple of items and a Yuumi on your shoulders is a nightmare to deal with. It's going to be a lot of work cut out here for the side of AL. They need to show up big time. This is their last chance. If they can win this game, they can make it to playoffs. We need to see pure aggression. We need to see them fighting tooth and nail for the early lead.
Speaking of, it is fight night, it is tradition, and it is playoff implications on the line. As you said, anyone's legend. One win, you are in. You lock yourself into the summer playoffs. Top Esports, they win here, they lock in the first seed of those summer playoffs. Both teams really fighting for it here, but anyone's legend finally coming to bat, getting their proper gloves on here for that early game kerfuffle. And now we will see if they can push Top Esports to distance, if they can make their mark on this summer split in the LPL. It's Top Esports versus anyone's legend in our Fight Night Summer LPL 2022 matchup. Round 2 begins now.
Round 2, ring that bell. It's time to get onto Summoner's Rift and see if anyone's legend can make it to playoffs. FPX have been locked in today. TT have been locked out. And now it's time to decide between AL and BLG who is our final team in that top 10. And for Top Esports as well, they just want to grab themselves that first seed. One more game win, and that one's in the books. A first place finish in the summer regular season for Top Esports. They love to do it in style. And I just want to quickly mention as well, Mazel, night locking in the Akali. Remember, he's tied in second place for MVPs this split, and just a singular MVP away from snagging first, from tying up Shun. And to do it on Akali, that would be a hell of a way to end your regular split.
You think that's in his mind? You think that he's like, there's that one MVP left here? Or do you think he's just like, nah, I just want to smash harder?
I think it's highly possible that Knight is well aware of the MVP standings. I feel like that's one of the few stats that pro players are likely to look out for, that kind of thing. And, you know, whether or not you're getting those MVPs in the games, I feel like players do care about that sort of stuff. So I wouldn't be too surprised if Knight is keeping his eyes on that one. We'll have to see how this lane goes, though. Sylas versus Akali. You should expect the Sylas to have a bit of an advantage as Akali really struggles in the first few levels.
But again, we saw last game, Tian hovered that mid lane relentlessly against Harder. But we'll see where that focus goes as JackeyLove taking a bit of a worse end of the trade against this Lucian Nami bottom lane. Xiaohao playing the aggressive on the Zhao. We'll be trying to get this wrap around towards bottom, but Tian is on his way there. We'll start up the Krugs here as a bit of a difference maker.
He doesn't know.
JackeyLove's level 1. They don't have level 2 yet. They haven't gotten it. Flash comes out from both Xiaohao and JackeyLove. And the heal was burned from Mark 2. So Summoner trade down, and anyone's legend might come out on top because of that.
Yeah, I mean, Flash burn against JackeyLove is nice. Obviously, JackeyLove will get his E in a little bit on this Zeri. The problem is he's still level 1, and look at where the wave is. This ain't pushing in anytime soon. It'll be really, really slow moving in. So JackeyLove still going to be level 1 for a little old while, just trying to stay in XP range, and will be zoned out by Betty and Chocho. Tian around in this bottom side. There are no wards for AL. This could be real dicey.
He has Flash available as well, but so do Betty and Chocho. So gonna try to spot out some vision. We'll see. He was not on vision. Maybe he'll stick around a lot longer. But again, I want to go back to the reiteration of this is something Tian has been cultivating, right? He's waiting. He's buying his time. He doesn't care that Xiaohao can continue to farm, right? If he can find advantage for these all-star laners, that is where his victory lies.
Xiaohao knows what's going on, though. The Scryer's Bloom spots out Tian, and it will force Tian to move over towards that top side. Xiaohao definitely going to have the advantage in the short term in that matchup. So Tian just conceding, going up to the top. Scuttle Crab going up to his own jungle as well. And a bit of deep vision dropped out by Qingtian as well onto the enemy Krug. So Tian playing safe for now, trying to get into that bottom lane, deciding against it in the end. And we kind of continue as we were going on. Knight just about getting out to safety there.
Hey, no sweat off his brow, all right? He just easily moves out of that one. Harder, at least trying to get that flash out of him. Won't do so just yet, but both junglers are kind of going back towards the top side of the map. we'll see if this volatility lies for Betty and QiuQiu, right? This is what we expect. We want to see them use this level 3 to their advantage. They've already got JackeyLove under half health.
Yeah, the one thing I will say for JackeyLove is he at least has sustained in that lane from Mark, but look at Mark's mana. Like, JackeyLove is taking so much damage consistently in this lane that Mark is going to go very, very quickly. Mark actually staying in the lane there. You see JackeyLove go for the recall. Mark sticks around just to make sure somebody is getting the XP. No reason for them both to lose it. Now JackeyLove headed back towards that bottom lane. It's a free reset opportunity for Betty and QiuQiu to crash another wave and head on back to face themselves.
They will just get some resets off of the bottom lane. I love that Xiaohao was actually willing to kind of play what Tian did last time around. Try to revisit that middle lane, try to get that flash out of Knight on that second iteration. Doesn't find it in that time. And I think that still does mean that Xiaohao's looking for a lot more of those proactive plays than we saw him playing a lot more reactively last time. And that's all positive for me for anyone's legend, right? Like, I need to see that kind of stuff continue in the second game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a really great start for anyone's legend, honestly, compared to what happened in game number 1, right? Just being even in the game is fantastic, but also, like, we've seen smart play from anyone's legend, forcing that wave and getting the free reset. Now the wave pushing towards them as well. They can try and set up a freeze. Mid lane, though.
Oh my god. Harder is taking a lot of damage there. He didn't land that Abscon of Duck. He did have QiuQiu right behind him, though. So some support. Knight still willing to go in there, trade a couple blows, gets a couple chest punches or stomach punches in, walks away. And we actually see Tian walking down towards bottom lane to try to get their own punch down here, sneak into the alcove.
Yeah, so the game plan here for Tian, JackeyLove and Mark will shove this wave in, hoping that it will crash against the tower here. And it means that the wave will bounce back.
Oh,
JackeyLove. Just going to clear.
They're onto him. He does have that healing, and here comes onto Betty. He's waiting. Okay, Tian misses it. He will be able to get that sidestep, though. JackeyLove taking a lot of damage back, but Betty needs to be careful as well. No level 6 just yet, but it's still a 3v3 on the bottom lane. Top Esports just looking for the poke, looking for the catch out here.
Yeah, good attempt there from Top Esports. Tian trying to play for the counter gank. Xiaohao needs to be a little cautious as she walks onto the laser there, but won't be able to close the gap here. Both mid laners starting to posture as well.
They're moving down, but they'll find each other in the river there. So Knight actually getting the upper hand here. He'll get the control ward. They'll get the scuttle crab. I wonder if they just turn this into an early dragon here. But they have all that pressure down in that bottom side. We're seeing the trading back in the top side of the map as well. Qingtian and ZDZ going at it, as this matchup will do. I think that we'll still see the island change from bottom lane last game to top lane this time around, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. It's Gnar versus Sejuani. There's not going to be much action. Unless ZDZ really mispositions, maybe there's a chance for Qingtian to find a solo kill. Sejuani does do a lot of damage, so if you're caught in mini Gnar, there are small windows where Sejuani can punish you. But realistically speaking, ZDZ shouldn't be making those kinds of mistakes, especially in a game as important as this one for anyone's legend. Like, that is not the game where you want to make risky plays in the laning phase when the enemy has solo kill potential against you. So a fairly slow one up at the top side. CS lead in the mid lane for Knight, which kind of impressive, honestly, considering Harder has been playing pretty well so far in this series. But Knight, just an absolute monster in the laning phase. And we know that his Akali is something to be feared. Xiaohao, finally clearing his Krugs, will be spotted on yet another deep ward from Qingtian.
Nice warding done from the top lane of Top Esports. But I think also going back to that point, I still see some proactivity issues, I feel like. But I'm really looking at these next couple minutes to see what Xiaohao does to kind of get an objective or something along those lines for anyone's legend. As we will see actually Tian going for that aggression, going for that invade. Xiaohao revisits mid lane. It's something else for this mid lane matchup, right? Like, Knight has been the focus for anyone's legend. They haven't gotten his flash. They haven't gotten a kill on him just yet. And every time, Knight is getting in little trades against Harder, against Zhao when they come by. And it's just incredible to watch this guy weave in and weave out of these fights.
Yeah, feels like it's... Oh, God. It just feels so tense, doesn't it, myself? Like,
yeah, it does.
The way that this game has been going, with such aggressive picks on both sides, it has felt like both teams willing to pull the trigger, but not quite finding their opportunities just yet. Qingtian getting a bit aggressive on the top side. I will say, level 6 has been hit on both junglers, though. It's a big moment for both Vi and for Zhao, but for Vi especially, for finding plays inside lanes. That level 6 is monumental.
JackeyLove does hit the level 6 mark as well down here as they spot out Xiaohao trying to make another gank. They do have so much pressure down here for anyone's legend, but you actually see some pings to come out behind just to get some vision down here. I get the triple split as Xiaohao, Tian, and the bottom lane for top esports.
Production kind of smurfing right now. Looking at our two junglers moving up towards the top side of the map here. But look, Betty and Chocho first on the rotation here. AL should have the advantage. We can see now JackeyLove and Mark on their way as well. Keep your eyes on these junglers. They need to survive. They need to find this smite.
They don't know that Tian is in the bush right there. Knight's coming around the side. They go straight for Betty, but that's a tidal wave through runs.
Oh my god.
That's a little bit overzealous there, Tian. But Knight follows it up to make sure it's not all for naught. And that's a big final chapter. I don't know if Knight has the damage at this point to follow it up as much as he would want to. Knight gets out with a sliver of health. JackeyLove is in trouble here, but he's putting up some serious damage as he's just bobbing and weaving. He's putting in the headshots right now. And here comes Qingtian with the Glacial Prison. It's not enough. JackeyLove flashes out. Now Qingtian needs to be a little careful. He's the front line. But man, what a scrappy fight in this second round.
That was such a weird fight from top esports. Qingtian wasn't even a part of it for the vast majority. That was 4v5. Somehow it ends up in just one kill apiece. JackeyLove getting close to just destroying people there. But let's take another look at this setup, right? Tian goes so deep to try and make this play happen. Knight gets denied by the tidal wave. Does manage to follow up in the end. Goes forward to finish that kill off. Using the ult off of Harder to then get the 5-point strike in and finish that first kill. But then here, Knight trying to go for a little bit more, but gets knocked up. Has to just ult out of the play. And then JackeyLove is like, okay, you've used all of your CC. I have infinite movement speed. And just starts chunking people out. Qingtian finally arrives on the play. Like, he wasn't a part of any of that. If that ult lands, maybe JackeyLove could finish a kill, but ultimately JackeyLove going too deep there and having to flash back out. So incredibly close for both sides of turning into way, way more. Kind of disappointing, honestly, that it ends the way that it ends. But just take a look at some of the CS numbers. His Drake is about to be started. Yeah. Knight is 30 CS up and a kill in the mid lane. He is monstrous as we enter the mid game.
He is. Still waiting on that Mythic item spike, speaking of. Gale Force is there for Betty, so they have a little bit of a power spike here for themselves. They want to try to push onto this dragon. As we see, their vision gain, their positioning is all around this objective, but I feel like there's a little bit of hesitancy in terms of trying to commit to one of these objectives. But for top esports, there's no hesitancy at all.
Yeah, they're just going to start this Herald off. This could be traded for a Drake on the bottom side if Betty and Chocho want to go for that, but I don't think they do. They want to just go and contest the Herald instead. JackeyLove, I think the decision here from top esports should just be to trade for the tier 1 in the bottom. Obviously, they can't finish the tier 1, but get some plates on that tier 1 in the bottom side for JackeyLove. You can give him solo plates as well as Mark can just kind of leave the lane for a moment here. And basically say, from the perspective of top esports, look, we can take more gold trading on the opposite side of the map than you'll be able to with the Herald in a couple of minutes' time. So that's the gambit that top esports are going for here. And AL will look to try and gain more than just the plates that JackeyLove will get on this bottom side off of the back of their Herald play.
We're going to move Knight, Tian, and Mark down here, try to punish Betty and Chocho a little bit more. But the Zeri getting gold, like, you'll love to see it. That's a late game insurance policy for sure. But they do have that Rift Herald being dropped down. Now Tian is caught, and he might just get the kill here onto Betty. Betty can't get the damage, and now Chocho will join him in the deep watery death. That's a double kill for the JackeyLove.
A stylish one at that as well, but my god, the healing on Tian there with... I mean, I don't even know where all that healing came from. Obviously, Mark doing a good chunk of it, but with the Gromp, I think, going down as well. Tian goes from like 10 HP to half health and baits the enemy in. Let's take another look at this one as Tian starting this one off. It looks like he's in massive trouble. Betty going over the wall, but the smite then finished. No, the Gromp doesn't even go down. It's just the healing coming out from Mark,
I guess. Though, in that first trade, as he goes into the bush, he smited the Gromp to get a little bit of healing. But yeah, that heal from Mark, that was actually incredible. The guy is, he's still working on some items here, but Renewer is going to help out a lot more. And I really like to see, the still, maybe not tempered aggression for top esports in these kinds of moments where, like, even in AL having advantages, trying to find things early on. Like the skirmishes just end up in top esports' hands. They just have mechanically better hands.
I will say, crucially, after that play, right, we see the couple of kills going the way of JackeyLove, and also JackeyLove getting, I think, 2 plates out of the plate in total. The Herald did go down in the middle, right? So Xiaohao does get a good chunk of gold for that one. I'm not sure if that was 2 or 3 plates that went down from the Herald play that happened while all the shenanigans were happening in the bottom lane. So all things considered, gold is actually still very, very even in this one. The only issue there for AL is that all of the gold is in the hands of Knight and JackeyLove for top esports. That's the dream scenario for them.
It really is. And at this point, AL are just trying to wake up from that dream and maybe not let it turn into a nightmare. Or maybe make it a nightmare for top esports. This is the Dragon focus, though, for the first time, 15 minutes in. Anyone's Legend already have about half health here. And JackeyLove with an Ultra Shock Laser can steal it. He's going to try. It's not fast enough. And first Dragon goes over to Anyone's Legend.
Yeah, nice stuff there from Anyone's Legend. Qingtian, in the meantime, there's no TP available for AL. So this Dragon will be traded for a tower in the top. It's not the fastest tower I've ever seen taken down there. Oh, blue buff in trouble. Harder going to be able to get over. I wasn't sure if Knight was going to commit to something there, but not deciding to go for anything in the end. Harder moving on over, but
they might go
trouble
for
himself.
No.
Oh, don't dash onto the lane. No, flash
no! It's like watching a horror movie and say, don't go in the house. But then the person just walks into the house anyways.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he didn't have the ominous music playing, so he didn't know that it was about to happen. Could be a dive here? Yeah, that would have been dicey to go for, especially with Xiaohao having his ult available, goes in with the Gold Drinker as well. But Knight and Tian just finding themselves a cheeky little pick, and Harder kind of showing the fact that he is a rookie ultimately. This is his first series in the LPL against Tian and Knight. You got to give him a bit of leeway here.
And he's been getting focused, right? That's the worst part. It's like, they didn't even leave him alone. Oh my God, ZDZ. He's trying to go for it. The Mega Gnar. Qingtian gets solo boloed by Anyone's Legend, ZDZ.
Beautiful kill from ZDZ, and I love the confidence, right? In a game that is so important, in a game that decides whether or not Anyone's Legend makes it to playoffs. ZDZ having the confidence to flash forward for a solo kill against a player that hasn't been playing all year long. Oh, no.
He walked back up. I don't know if Tian can actually do it. I mean, he's got Mega Gnar coming back up, so I think he's actually fine. But, man, that was a little bit scary. If we're about to cast a person, maybe.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so big moment, though, right, for ZDZ to be able to find that kill. And ZDZ has been a player that has got a surprising amount of solo kills up at that top side. When he gets a good matchup, this guy knows how to take over. That is for sure. We can see, Qingtian going a bit aggressive at the wrong time, right? Where just as ZDZ is turning into that Mega Gnar, they're flashing forward for that stun to guarantee that he can get the Gnar ulti, keep Qingtian in the play. And once that starts, you can't escape. Remember, no flash for Qingtian, so you can never Q out of that one. ZDZ just stands in front of him so that the Q will never be able to be used defensively.
Vegas focus is back on the carries of top esports, though. That top lane, all they're going to need from Qingtian is one big Glacial Prison, right? Like Knight, JackeyLove, that is the damage profile, and at this point, that's really where you're looking at for Anyone's Legend to find an in. Speaking of, they might try to punish Knight in the side. He's just too quick. He's on the Akali, and it's going to be really difficult to find these picks. Whereas for top esports, right, they have the cease and desist from Tian if they ever get anybody out positioned.
Certainly do. Is Betty trying to steal away the giant chicken there. 4-2 on the scoreboard, and it is a gold lead for top esports, 2,000, but not that dramatic right now. Here's the thing, though, right? You've got Lucian, Nami. Oh, hang on, Tian. That's a bit deep, and Harder just going to answer.
But he's over the wall. Final chapters there. Qingtian is on the back line here. This is a front to back that I feel like JackeyLove can pilot. That is the Crescent Guard out. Xiaohao gets jumped on by Knight. Here comes Harder to his death.
Already.
And top esports. That's a big Mega Gnar ulti from ZDZ. They find the double bubble, and now top esports is in trouble. But can Knight finish it off? Knight dies to ZDZ, and Betty, Chocho, ZDZ, they get an ace and a triple kill for Anyone's Legend.
ZDZ, you absolute beast, gets the solo kill in the top lane, then comes into the team fight and serves top a taste of their own medicine. What a way to win a fight here. The Gnar ult unbelievable. And AL now even things up. They've got a gold lead for once. And with a composition like this, you need to snowball. Look at Betty's gold right now. 4-2-2. He's about to finish his second item. This is exactly what AL needed.
It's a punch back and it's a wake up for anyone's legend. This is the kind of fight we wanted, and it's exactly what we're getting with this competition. ZDZ putting on the carry pants at this point, and honestly, it was incredible decision-making and a lack thereof from top esports, right? Because just being able to pounce at that moment, actually incredible for anyone's legend.
Yeah, really great stuff. So it looks fantastic for top esports, right? It looks amazing to start the playoffs. ZDZ in mini Gnar over there. See JackeyLove stacking up. Knight goes in, gets himself a double kill on 2. In goes Tian to try and start the play, but Betty survives, and ZDZ hops in the middle of everyone, slams them all against the wall with the wallop. The bubble is there to follow up from QiuQiu, and that is the moment that it all falls apart for top esports. ZDZ with a cheeky little boulder on Knight to finish the play off as well. What a way to do it here, and crucially now, ZDZ is going to be massive. That's 2 Drakes on the trot now for AL as well. That'll be them leaning towards the Soul, an Ocean Soul no doubt as well, which will be beautiful for them. And Betty with a massive influx of gold, not only finishing his rapid fire cannon, but getting a BF sword on top of it. So AL, a phenomenal position here, and top esports no longer can just go for these random scraps. They need to play well now. They can't disrespect AL any longer.
And just looking at the potential right now for Betty and QiuQiu from the bottom lane, the carry potential that's coming out here, right? We got to see that craziness from JackeyLove last game. But Betty, with his moment, his chance to do so, he's looking primed and ready to go. I think it's going to be a lot still down to execution. You still have to watch Knight. You still have to watch JackeyLove, the scaling factors for top esports, but it's feeling like a much more positive light for anyone's legend. I'll see if they catch out Knight, but on the back end, Qingtian goes in for the engage. Ultra Shock Laser across as well. Final chapter here, but Qingtian is caught out yet again. This has been the story of game number 2.
Yeah, a bit of a rough engage coming out from top esports. Honestly, the laser is starting to do damage. I will say, top esports, no matter what happens in the mid game, they do have Zeri. That is always a win condition. That's always going to be scary. But another great pick here for AL. I don't think they could start the Baron off the back of this pick. Qingtian will have TP in 20 seconds available. So this is not something where AL could just suddenly blow the game open. But again, really nice pick and really nice defensive play coming out from AL here to hold their own. I want to quickly mention maybe I can't mention Harder's in trouble.
Nope, that's a cease and desist, and Harder might give over another kill. Oh, it goes over to Tian. So there you go, catching out the newbie in the mid lane.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate for Harder. Kind of not respecting top esports and their ability to just dive on in and find a pick there. That'll be a tier 1 in the mid lane for top esports. Shouldn't be too much more, though. They need to get control of their side lanes and recoup things. I want to quickly mention, we talked a lot about TT earlier and how long it had been since that organization had made playoffs. Well, it's a similar story here for AL. AL used to be Rogue Warriors. The last time this organization made it to playoffs was back in 2018 summer. That's 4 years ago. And the man in the mid lane on that roster was Doin B. That was the start of Doin B's career. That was the year before he went on to win Worlds with FPX. So it's a long time since Rogue Warriors or anyone's legend managed to make it to playoffs. And if they can just get this one game, they'll finally do it again. They don't even need the series. They just need this one game win against top esports. And right now, they're the ones in charge.
And you have to think, the momentum is running high. You've got such a big lead for ZDZ in terms of the setup to knock it down from Betty and QiuQiu. And I think the combination of those CC chains is going to be so important. But again, as has been like the shark circling the raft at this point, it's still top esports, right? And you still have to be very, very careful when you take these fights. Don't overextend. Make sure you're making the right decisive calls. And it looks like it's going to come off the back of continuing to set up around these objectives and continue to scale in that fashion. Try to pick apart top esports.
Yeah, exactly. Try and find ways to separate the team, right? Try and find ways to get picks. But honestly, I feel like Harder on this Sylas and ZDZ on the Gnar need to be the main guys to look at during these fights. They need to do similar to what Knight and Qingtian did in game number 1, right? Where you're just such a threat to top esports that they have to play defensive, and it gives Betty a massive amount of space to play around the rest of the fight, right? That's the way that I see this AL composition working, is just dive on in, get space for Betty to function. But the problem with that is, if top esports can kite that back, if JackeyLove can just stack his ultimate up, get that lightning chaining across the team, if you don't get onto that Zeri, suddenly once your burst damage has gone out of this Lucian, you don't really have that much left in the tank. And if top esports do survive it, that's where things start to get really scary for AL. They're not far enough ahead that they could just win team fights for free.
I will say, though, third item spike with that IE will be very nice for the burst damage of Betty. See if they can capitalize on that with those big bubbles, with the damage profile coming back behind it. But TES are constantly just playing the vision game. Tian is just moving through, trying to move with Mark, with JackeyLove, set up around this mid lane to put them in better position to contest this dragon.
They're trying to fight for control, right? 10 seconds until that Drake comes up. We're looking at Betty, we're looking at JackeyLove in this fight, but also Knight and Harder could turn things around. Harder taking that Sejuani ult is certainly a good way to start things off for AL.
CDZ does go into Gnar here a little early. He'll be about halfway down. You know he wants to get that engage there. He's taking a little bit of damage. Knight on the side will be spotted out by the trinket here, and it's AL a bit dicey. You realize they don't really need to fight over this, but it looks like they want to anyways. There's the Glacial Prison from Harder. Here's the Tidal Wave in as well. And immediately Betty gets the first kill of the fight. Onto the backline goes Tian and Knight, but Knight can't really do anything. Look at JackeyLove, though. Look at JackeyLove. He's trying to make it happen here. He's trying to get the damage down. He gets a couple here. He gets another. And JackeyLove and Mark, the deadly duo. They're trying to make it happen. ZDZ and Harder, they're the only ones left for anyone's legend. And just like that, some of that scaling is starting to come through, even off of the back of a third dragon secured from anyone's legend.
And that's the most important thing, right? Top esports, yeah, sure, they get 3 kills in the fight, and JackeyLove wants to turn it into more as well. But crucially, soul point for AL. That's what they needed out of this one. JackeyLove might get aggressed upon. Harder just going to use the ult to clear the wave here, as we will get full resets. But crucially, AL get themselves on soul point. They get themselves a potential win condition online, and it's a great pick onto Qingtian to start the play off.
It's actually incredible to see like all that focus in the pit, but then Tian makes the call, Knight makes the call. Let's go to the back line. Let's see what happens here. And JackeyLove and Mark the entire time just peppering the team, because there's such big things to focus on with Tian and Knight in front of your face. And it just leaves such a big window for the execution to come through from one of the best ADCs to do it in the LPL.
And the crazy thing is, top esports basically commit and say, look, we're giving you Drake so we can win this fight. And they do win the fight, but only just, not in the way that I think they wanted to, considering how deep Knight and Tian went in that line and tried to make that play happen, right? So ultimately, AL winning out in the play, in the grand scheme of things, getting that Drake for themselves. And now top esports still in a bit of an awkward position where they don't have the lead that they wanted. Yes, 1,000 gold up, but 3 Drakes down at this point. Even just in terms of statistics that gold is going to bring you, the Dragons are getting you way more across the team with the recent buffs. Qingtian! Oh my god, he just is nowhere near tanking.
Yeah, and on the other side, ZDZ is, right? Like he's 3 items in. He's feeling real tanky. He's got the Force of Nature and the Randuins here, but it's been a lot of... Oh my god. That's the 3 item spike for the Zeri right there. A little bit different. It feels like hits a little different, Munchables, but it's really starting to come down to carry potentials for both these two teams.
You know, I'm just thinking about who... If top esports can manage to fight a fight, who will be the MVP of that next fight? It could be JackeyLove, it could be Knight. And I wonder what's more important to top esports, the win here in game number 2, or Knight getting the most MVPs of the split. Which one matters more? Top esports, though, just going to start the Baron off here, and AL have to answer.
They have to. Top esports feeling really confident here. The Ultra Shock Laser out, but doesn't really hit on anybody. Xiaohao's right on the edge, but the Glacial Prison. Tian trying to look for the back line here. Tidal Wave comes out onto 2 members. Harder getting so low. Qingtian is down. Knight's on the edge, and that's a trade back and forth. JackeyLove, he's trying to make it work. Knight is working his way into it as well. Betty, Knight with the double kill. That's the perfect execution already utilized. But again, top esports find a way to navigate the fight and come out on top.
Oh, they're not done just yet, Mazel, though. They want to keep chasing this one. I don't think they can close the gap. Knight was basically 1 HP earlier on, but with the red buff and with a Yuumi here, he's sustaining himself up 2 times in a row. Top Esports just about win a fight 3-2 though. Knight, absolute MVP of the play right there. Huge double kill for him because it looked real dicey. Top Esports were basically all dead partway through the play there. Knight almost cancelling Mark's recall with the crop there after using the Shroud. But take a look at this, right? So it starts off, Top Esports just holding on to the Baron here. It looks like a good engage, but then look at the health bars from Top Esports. Slowly but surely get chipped down. Qingtian goes down. Harder does get traded for that, but look at the health bars. Knight, though, goes into the back line, slammed against the wall, but just perfect execution, comes across, finishes 2, and flips everything onto its head. Buys JackeyLove that space to push everyone out. And look at that scoreline once again. 7-1 and 2 for Knight.
Man, so the thing for me is, like, you could take out Qingtian, Tian, Mark, even if you haven't really been able to. But in the end, it's Knight and JackeyLove who have prevailed every single time. That's why in this bloody, scrappy fight, 13-12 at 30 minutes in, there is still the top esports difference.
There absolutely is. One thing I will say, though, Harder just took away Tian's ulti, right? That's a big, big tool, especially against Zeri. Zeri is one of these champions that is very difficult to lock down, but Vi is one of the champions that can find the way on.
Xiaohao's in with the Crescent Guard, the tidal wave on top of it. Wait, there's the ulti onto JackeyLove, but he's all separated, and immediately Top Esports turn it around. Harder, you are not dead. He gets out. Nicely done with the abscond. Oh, Chocho is about to get taken out just by the Ultra Shock laser, but now the Dragon on the table for Top Esports. They've got some health bar chunking done to AL's team, and it's AL trying to force this fight.
Certainly are. Knight trying to get a bit of healing from the Honey Fruit here. Another TP back into the play. JackeyLove getting a bit of mana as well. Drake started up. This is sold for AL if they can win it. And JackeyLove doesn't have his ulti, so can't stack up in the same way that you're used to seeing Zeri's do.
They see that Knight is on the side here.
Oh my god. What is this champion, man? That's just his W.
It's 813 damage off of one ability. It's actually incredible. There is a back coming through here from Knight. He has the TP to get back into it. It is literally just a moment of time for Top Esports to buy here, and they move into the pit. The TP kind of dissuades AL. They're a bit finicky here. Glacial Prison in, though. They've got Harder into the pit. Who's going to get the Dragon? Is it secure?
Oh my god, they get it.
AL, they get the Dragon Soul. Knight is eviscerating the backline, and so is Top Esports. They found ZDZ with the Mega Gnar. He doesn't get the Mega Gnar ulti, and it's all going to hell in a handbasket real quick, Munchables.
This needs to be more, though. This needs to be an ace for Top Esports. They have to get objectives because they just lost Dragon Soul. AL happy to trade 3 deaths for that if they can hold onto their towers, if they can hold onto Baron. Xiaohao still alive, but no smite available for him. JackeyLove trying to cancel the recall here. Not going to go for the laser in the end. I don't know if he canceled it.
Oh, he missed it.
He didn't. It was too late. He wasn't sure which way to go.
He was going to try to go back behind the wall to get the Ultra Shock laser width over the entire brush, but he was like, no, let's just go for it. And then he misses it in the end. So big misexecution there to catch him out, and now Xiaohao can come and test the Baron. Top Esports, they're getting low. They're about to die just to the Baron. They go right back into CDZ. They don't have the damage. They don't have the time, but JackeyLove is here now. Knight and JackeyLove. He's on a rampage now. He's going for it. He's dodging out of all of everything. That's the Crescent Guard coming out from Xiaohao. He goes right back in. JackeyLove, it's on a razor's edge here. But Top Esports find a way to incrementally fight these fights.
Marcel, what is this game? Top Esports doing maybe the riskiest Baron I've ever seen. No one with any health. JackeyLove on the wrong side of the map. And now AL can go for the play. Tian, 20 seconds on the reset. JackeyLove needs to make miracles happen with no ult available to get this Baron. The laser's too early. I don't think he can contest. He has to back away here. And Baron taken by AL. Unbelievable. A laser, though. Knight's moving in.
It's literally just Knight, JackeyLove, and Mark against the world. They're just trying to see if they can catch any stragglers here, but they do not. That is a Baron. That is soul for AL, and everything's looking good for them here if they could continue to pressure these moments and utilize the swing of tempo.
This is a crazy game here. AL taking it to Top Esports. So Tian gets locked up. It's literally a 50-50 smite, and Xiaohao wins the 50-50. Top Esports try and just win the fight. That tidal wave was absolutely monumental to stop JackeyLove diving in with Tian and Knight on the backside. But crucially, Xiaohao and ZDZ survive. That's all that matters here for AL, because they get themselves the soul, and then off the back of the passage of play that follows on, they also get the Baron for themselves. AL, if they win this game, they make playoffs for the first time since 2018. And they are on the cusp. Honestly, they're slightly behind in gold, but with that Ocean Soul, I think they might just be able to win these team fights.
It is the difference maker, but also the difference maker is ZDZ with the ultis, right? You get one good Mega Gnar ulti, that is a fight win for anyone's legend. But if you can continue to let Knight and JackeyLove just dip, dive, and duck through these fights, it gets so difficult because they can outplay you.
Mazel, I've just seen a horrible version of the future. I've just had visions of the fact that Elder Dragon is up in 2.5 minutes.
Oh,
hang on, that's an engage.
That's the tidal wave use and the Crescent Guard. Those are big tools, and Knight goes straight in for it. Calling actually used by Betty. So a lot of ultimates used from the side of anyone's legend, and that's a spiky predicament here if they can't navigate these next fights.
I thought Knight had used his ultimate to get into that one there, but still has it available. So Top Esports using the Sejuani ultimate to try and force the play, but that's the only ultimate on cooldown, whereas on the side of AL, as you say, the Crescent Guard down, the Tidal Wave down, the Culling down as well. They cannot contest at all right now. So Top Esports have a moment to gain control of the map off the back of that play. Crucially, gonna go for a reset in the end. 2,000 gold lead for them as Harder should be able to finish this tower off in the top side, or at least the minions will just finish the job for him.
Oh,
and man, it feels so tense, right? 2 minutes till Elder Dragon comes up. AL, the ones with the Baron, but they can't really get much done with it. And Knight and JackeyLove once again fighting for MVP status there in the scoreboard.
Speaking of, this is a big change, right? A full build from JackeyLove just came through. We just got the Lord Doms completed there. He has a full item ahead of Betty on a late game carry, who we've seen the Ultra Shock lasers to this point already doing so much damage. Now he has finished that Lord Dom. So it is something to watch out for. The picks that can happen, the damage potential from JackeyLove. It is setting up for catastrophe for anyone's legend, but they're utilizing this pressure, the Ocean Soul, very well. But a minute 15, the counter is on.
It certainly is. And you have to remember the journey that AL have been through this split as well. They were looking like a, honestly, top 4 team for a little while. And then everyone looked at their schedule and realized their last 4 opponents were RNG, JDG, EDG, and Top Esports. They lost the first 3 of those series. And now they need to beat the Kings. They need to beat the team fighting for first to get playoffs.
They're trying to force it. They have Harder in the bottom lane. He's TPing now, but AL, they've already been picked apart. There's no way. And that's ZDZ down as well. No Mega Gnar to save your life. Anyone's legend, their hopes and dreams. It's being dashed in front of their eyes, Munchables. Cho down to JackeyLove. And Betty might survive, but that is a win in Top Esports' eyes.
Knight is hunting for him. Harder gets slowed down by the Ultra Shock laser here. I don't know if they can chase that one down. JackeyLove's going to try.
He wants it. He's about to have that Ultra Shock laser back. Knight on the side. Stop. At least pressuring Betty.
Oh, no.
On the back here. TP in. That's the end of the game. Betty is just now starting to back Top Esports. I think they've done it, Munchables.
BLG cheering in their base right now as Top Esports eradicate them.
Top Esports, they come in, they slam the door. Anyone's legend, they got soul, but it does not matter. Top Esports will claim the first seed of the LPL Summer 2022 split in dominant fashion. The V5 series be damned. It's Top at the top.
It's absolutely all Top Esports here after such a battle against AL, fighting tooth and nail. And you can see the respect in JackeyLove's face right there. Those are serious fist bumps as he walks across. And honestly, I'm gutted for AL that they don't make playoffs. I feel like TT and AL, both of them, the stories ending in the way that they have today is just brutal. BLG cheering with glee as they and FBX will make it into playoffs in the end. Top Esports, though, being tested here by AL. And I have to say, it's a little scary for Top Esports going into playoffs, having such a close game against AL here, but ultimately getting the first seed, and that's all that mattered to them.
That's all that matters. This team is terrifying. I know you can say all you want about going a distance against AL, momentum, storylines, narratives. That was on AL's side tonight, and Top Esports came in, shut that narrative down, put in their own piece of paper and said, nah, this is what we're running with tonight. And it was actually incredible, especially off of the loss against V5. They were destroyed in that series. I think seeing them come back even against anyone's legend, even with this craziness on the back end of this series,
yeah,
props. I mean, they are our first seed. A huge round of applause to this team pushing through thick and thin, right? Having such an incredible win streak in the regular season come to an end at the end, but still having that dominance that we know and love from Top Esports.
I will say the ties were worth it, Mazel. This was definitely fight night in the end. My God, what a set of banger team fights that we've just been witness to. But man, AL, I just want to take a second here and kind of commiserate, because just a singular game in this series would have done it. It would have been the first time in 4 years that this organization makes it to playoffs. And for both AL and for TT, rosters that people didn't expect anything from.
Yeah.
Both of these rosters kind of coupled together of players that have been in the LPL for a while that haven't been able to find success on other rosters. I mean, Chocho losing here, being denied playoffs by his old squad, no less. Like, it's just such a heartbreak story when it looked so good for them earlier on in this split. And I will say I'm disappointed to see that they don't make playoffs in the end. But hey, congratulations for FunPlus and for Billy, both qualifying today off the back of those losses. And Top Esports, of course, for getting that first seed as well. But man, I would have loved to see what AL and TT could have done in playoffs. It would have been beautiful.
I think so as well. And that's where that heartbreak lies, right? It's not only that it comes in back-to-back series. It's not only that they had complete control going into tonight for themselves, but it's the fact that it went down the way that it did, right? We had advantages for both teams in a lot of moments, and I think you see the execution difference between a lot of these teams and momentum difference. And oh my God, that gold grab. But the gold grab, look at JackeyLove's damage, Lunchables. Like, that is crazy. I know you may be talking about the Ezreal harken back to his damage is always buffed up. Man, JackeyLove deserved that game. And I think coming out like that and navigating those fights was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, actually insane. JackeyLove, almost 50k damage. Like, that is mind-blowing. I am curious who the MVP will go to, because JackeyLove, obviously, mega damage on this Zeri. But 9-1 and 7 on the Akali, 16 KDA. Like, that's nothing to sniff at. The fact that he's even close to the damage of JackeyLove when it's Akali and Zeri that we're talking about. And also, Knight, if he gets the MVP, will tie for first place for MVPs this split with Sean. JackeyLove, it'll only be a 6th. Like, doesn't really matter. So I kind of hope that people are a little biased to give the MVP tonight on this one, because I think both had an MVP-worthy performance.
I don't know,
one of them was playing Zeri, that's all.
250% damage to gold ratio. I feel like that's a number you don't see that often. I know 200%.
That is insane, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I feel you though for the narrative for Knight, you know, being able to get